Chapter 5. Separation of Substances. Contents at a glance. Introduction. Hand-picking, threshing, winnowing, sieving, sedimentation, decantation and filtration, evaporation. Introduction. There are many instances when we notice a substance being separated from a mixture of materials. Like you take these tea leaves. Yes, tea leaves are separated from the liquid with a strainer while preparing tea. Grain is separated from stalks while harvesting. Now suppose you are given a basket containing mangoes and guavas and asked to separate them. What would you do? Simple. Pick out one kind and place them in a separate container, right? Now, imagine you are given a glass of sand with salt mixed in it. Can you separate them? Impossible even to think of separating salt from this mixture by picking out grains of sand by hand. Isn't it? Thus, in this chapter, we shall study various methods of separation of substances. Are you ready? Great! Let's move on.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें.
Methods of separation. We will discuss some simple methods of separating substances that are mixed together. So first is hand picking. This method of hand picking can be used for separating slightly larger sized impurities like the pieces of dirt, stone and husk from wheat, rice or pulses. The quantity of such impurities is usually not very large. In such situations, we find that hand picking is a convenient method of separating substances. Threshing. You must have seen bundles of wheat or paddy stalks lying in fields after harvesting the crop. Stalks are dried in the sun before the grain is separated from them. Each stalk has many grain seeds attached to it. Now the process that is used to separate grain from stalks is threshing. In this process, the stalks are beaten to free the grain seeds. Sometimes threshing is done even with the help of bullocks. Machines are also used to thresh large quantities of grain.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें.
Winnowing. Winnowing is used to separate heavier and lighter components of a mixture by wind or by blowing air. Now this method is commonly used by farmers to separate lighter husk particles from heavier seeds of grain. The husk particles are carried away by the wind. The seeds of grain get separated and form a heap near the platform for winnowing. The separated husk is used for many purposes such as fodder for cattle. Sieving. Sometimes we may wish to prepare a dish with flour. We need to remove impurities and bran that may be present in it. So, what do? We use a sieve and pour the flour into it. Sieving allows the fine flour particles to pass through the holes of the sieve, while the bigger impurities remain on the sieve. In a flour mill, impurities like husk and stones are removed from wheat before grinding it. Usually, a bag full of wheat is poured on a slanting sieve. The sieving removes pieces of stones, stalk, and husk that may still remain with wheat after threshing and winnowing. You may have also noticed similar sieves being used at construction sites to separate pebbles and stones from sand.
अगर आप अपने सिलेबस के सारे चैप्टर्स इस फॉर्मेट में देखना चाहते हैं तो हमें डिस्क्रिप्शन में दिए गए नंबर पर कॉल करें। ऐसे ही और एजुकेशनल वीडियोस देखने के लिए हमारे चैनल होम रिवाइज को सब्सक्राइब करें।